Star Victorian trainer driver Mattie Craven is at Club Menangle in search of Inter-Dominion glory with his brilliant mare Pink Gallards. However, Matt picked up a very handy win in the opening event at Club Menangle today. I caught up with Matt to discuss that particular win and also his Inter-Dominion hopefuls and his career. Well, Matty, what a wonderful way to pick up some extra travelling expenses following that first win of the opening race. It's me and you. A brilliant performance first up.
Oh, it was a nice result. She just come on the trip just for a bit of experience, and Caleb and Laura who own, Pink Gallards. Caleb was going to be up here for the couple of weeks for the experience, and we thought it was nice to be able to bring this filly along. She's a big raw filly, and she's taken a bit of time, and she's still a fair way off, being a finished product. But it was really good to give her the experience on the big track here at Menangle, and I think she really appreciated it.
And like Pink Gallards wearing a famous set of silks. Yeah,
well, she goes back to Brian Healy's famous family, and Caleb and Laura obviously being Brian's daughter, so it's a lovely connection, and it's nice that Caleb and Laura can race their horses in those colours.
Now, not sure whether John Williamson, the famous Australian artist, deserves any royalties from that particular win, but Pink Gallards and this particular winner all have that John Williamson connection.
Yeah, Caleb's, and I think so it goes back to his grandfather, kicking around with him, listening to Johnny Williamson songs, and it's sort of a name that means a bit to those, that Caleb and his family, so it's nice.
And what a song too, Hey True Blue.
Yeah, everyone, who's Australian would appreciate the song, that's for sure.
Matty, before we discuss your career, the performance of Better Call Me in the heat of the carousel here last Saturday night, superb. And is there a lot of upside to this particular fella?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. He's done a great job so far since we bought him from New Zealand. He's always raced in really strong company in his age. Even back in New Zealand, he's always racing, the really good age horses, and he's just a lovely horse to have around, and he seems to have a little bit of bottom to him. And Saturday night we were lucky enough to get a nice trip, and he was able to capitalise that in the home straight when he got out. So it was a good way to kick off the campaign up here in Sydney.
A lot of muscle, certainly wasn't disgraced with his solid fourth behind Majestic Man and Pink Gallards. Well, she didn't have a great deal of luck.
Yeah, a lot of muscle. He probably presented at the top of the straight to be the winner, but he just ran out of tickets. He wasn't far away, but hopefully he'll take some benefit from that run as well. And I expect him just to keep, hopefully improving through the series, and he's drawn nicely Newcastle, so hopefully he can perform well again. And Pink, they told me it was going to be a tricky draw from one, and she found it just that little bit hard to muster from the inside gate. We just had to make a decision whether we stayed on the fence or come off, and it's probably not her go outside the leader doing the work, but she sort of travelled into the race, the race really strongly, but it was probably just run out of tickets in the end. And maybe if she was following a helmet, it could have been a different result, but we were happy enough with her run, and hopefully she can sort of produce again at Newcastle and going forward, and hopefully both horses will improve into the final, all going to plan.
Matty, from a wonderful Victorian harness racing family, of course your father Peter, a wonderful contributor, and also still very keen on maintaining a hands-on approach despite all his work with the dairy farm.
Yeah, look, we're lucky, we've got a great support from all my family, and Dad, and goes back to Nana and Pop, who are great harness racing people, and their family that had the horses as well for a long time. And I grew up on the farm, telling Dad that I was going to milk the cows while he could go to the races, but that soon changed. And Dad's a terrific support for me, and not only that, me three brothers, Simon, who doesn't really have much involvement in the horses, but Glenn, who drives and drove a winner for me yesterday, and it's always lovely to be able to put him on. And my younger brother Daniel, him and Simon are always there to give us a hand. And with my partner Sophia, she drives the highest standards that we like to sort of maintain, and hopefully we can continue to get some better horses through the stable and some good results along the way. And we're lucky. Mum cooks us lunch every day, and makes everyone feel at home, and she spoils us, and Dad's always there for advice, as well as our cousins Jason and Paddy Lee, and Dad Dad's brothers and sisters, we're very lucky, and even Mum's sisters, Bernadine, she does my bookwork. Her other sister Veronica's always out at the stables just doing little jobs. We're definitely spoiled, and it's great to have such good support behind you, that's for sure.
Well, Matty, it sounds like a wonderful family involvement, but are you still helping out, doing a little bit of the milking on the side?
Oh, look, I still know how to do it. Just every now and again, if I can help, I try to, because Simon and Daniel and Dad's brothers, they're always helping me, and I can't do as much as I'd like to, but every now and again, I can do a milking or drive a tractor, and if I can do that, every now and again, I'm sure Simon and that appreciate it if I can do something, just a little bit in return.
Matty, outside the harness racing involvement as far as the Craven family are concerned, other influences on your career?
Oh, there's many. But if you go back to the start, obviously Dad, and his family. But growing up when we had horses with Peter Manning, he in my eyes, is just an absolute legend, and a lot of what we do is based around Peter's theories and thoughts, and the way he has his horses, so fit, and he always spends time to give you advice, when you've got a problem. But there's many other people along the way that, are there behind the scenes. Ashley Herbertson, Tony Dillon, Craig McGuinness, who helped work for me. I spent time at Mark Purden's, and then in the last couple of years we've been to Sweden and spent time with Timo Numerous, and a lot of our training now has sort of evolved to that sort of style, and what we learn over there, and we hope that we can get back there next year and try and learn some more and have another trip to Sweden with a bit of luck.
And that would be a wonderful experience for your partner, Severa Arvidsson, who is from Sweden but didn't know anything about harness racing when she lived there.
Yeah, look, she had a horse background but not a harness background. She'd come to work for me, to get her days up for her visa, and she just fell in love with the horses and the racing, and she's picked it up extremely well, and sort of the new ways that we train the horses she's really embraced, and because she probably didn't have any bad habits or thoughts, I think she's been able to take my horses to the next level, and she's an extremely hard worker, and I'd love to go back to Sweden with her and experience the Sweden harness racing, and let her go home and see what it's all about as well back there.
Any eye for keeping a horse in mind to bring back home?
Well, that's the plan. We'd love to buy a horse over there that we think is of really high quality, to race over there for a couple of months, and then with the idea to bring it back to Australia to either if it's a mare to breed from or something that's possibly a stallion prospect.
Matty, you're very keen on introducing as many people to harness racing as possible through ownership, and you're very strong into the syndication area.
Yeah, look, we love horses, and it's why we do it. We don't do it for the money, and when we can give just anyone the opportunity to become involved in the horse ownership and experience what we get to experience, it's I get a lot of kicks out of that, and to enable people to be able to do it. Not many people can afford to actually own even a horse or even 10% of a horse, and a lot of our owners come in for 1% and 2%, and they just get as every bit of the thrill as someone who owns an entire horse, and some of those people are our greatest supporters, and we really appreciate everyone that's behind us in that respect, and it just enables people the opportunity to do it. And sometimes it's not the initial cost to going into a horse, it's the ongoing cost that can really make it tough to own a horse, and when you're in for a small percentage, it just makes it so much more affordable for the everyday person, and we want those people involved in harness racing, and for them to be able to experience what we get to do every day and become a part of it, it's fantastic, and I'm trying to get as many people as possible to experience what I get to every day, and feel the enjoyment that we get out of it.
Matty, due to the COVID restrictions, you were locked out of Melton, which must have been extremely frustrating, knowing the fact that you've got such a strong team. But you see there may be a bit of an upside to it. Yeah,
even all over Australia, it's if you said a couple of years ago we're going to experience what we have in the last couple of years, you would have been locked up in Ward 9. But, out of it, there's been a lot of positives, and, the fact that, regional racing coming in Victoria, and, a lot of our feature races couldn't go ahead and were pushed back to the end of the year. I think it's been a huge positive for harness racing, and even the changing of the seasons and to the calendar year. It just makes sense, and it gets a lot of our better class races, in the better weather and around the spring carnival, and where you can probably enjoy, people want to get out and about, and you're not training horses in the mud and the rain and the cold weather. And it also, hopefully it'll enable, going forward, the carnivals that each club and states run, that could become more on their own, I guess. And we experienced the Queensland Carnival this year, which I think in years to come, being a standalone carnival, will just grow and grow. And if the states and the powers to be can all get together and enable everyone to sort of have their feature carnivals where trainers from all over can come and be part of that, it only just grows the interest in your carnival and, everything involved in it, whether it's turnover and the people that come to your state and your club. If you can bring more outside people in and more interest and more exposure, it's only going to be better for harness racing in the future.
Also, Matty, that'll also be a flow-on effect. If you can have all these different carnivals, does it open up the prospect of giving owners more chance to win prize money?
Oh, 100%. And we're lucky. We have owners, all over Australia, and when you're in Victoria, you don't always get to meet them. But when you go travelling and here on Saturday night, we got to meet some of our Sydney owners, and that was just fantastic. And they were overjoyed to come and see their little horse Lot of Muscle in the Inter-Dominion, and it was great to be able to bring him up here and for them to experience it on their home track. And I guess going forward, people won't be scared to invest, in horses in interstate, because with the idea that those horses could one day come and race at home and give them a thrill of racing all over Australia.
Well, Matty, you're involved with a very strong stable. There's a lot of potential stars there, and hopefully the list of 6 Group 1s and multiple Group winners, including about 20 odd, that will continue to grow as this wonderful future unfolds.
Yeah, look, we can only hope so, and we're lucky we've come to Sydney, and John and Narelle McCarthy have been really accommodating and put us up out at their farm, and they're just such lovely people and can't do enough for you, so we really appreciate that. And the stable, we're lucky that we've got some nice horses behind us. We've got some, great owners and people that are, investing money in breeding, and, hopefully as going forward we can just continue to upgrade our stable and keep getting better and better horses. We go to the yearling sales with the idea of, buying the horses we'd like to train. We buy horses out of New Zealand, like, Better Call Me, with the idea that they can race in derbies and races like the Carousel and things like that, where, these horses that you try and bring in that you think, they can do a job and give owners, a big thrill along the way. And if we can continue to do that and get some success along the way, and, that's our goal, is to just continue to upgrade our stable, and hopefully, one day we'll find that really, really special horse.
Well, Matty, Caleb Lewis was telling me before the win of the first winner, there's more John Williamson songs to come as far as horses named in the stable. You might have to get John involved in one.
Well, you never know. I mean, I'd love to meet him. He's such an icon of Australia, but his songs are, I guess, so much about Australia, and if he ever wanted to, we'd definitely welcome him on board, that's for sure.
Well, there's a project for us, Matty. It's been great to catch up with you, and good luck through the Inter-Dominion series.
Thanks for having me on.